it's Lisa. I have a 2-page layout for us this week using kind of some smaller photos, and I have not done a sketch for this because I wasn't entirely sure how I was going to lay this out. I'm still not entirely sure how this is all going to lay out. I'm wanting to do a grid pattern, but the elements for my grid are not all the same size, or they're at least not the same orientation. They're the 3x4 size, but some of them are portrait and some of them are landscape. And I don't like personally to split photos over the middle of a page, so I've arranged things so that I have some things on one side and some on the other. I pulled out some Project Life cards that I may mix in here, and I'm thinking about the title down here. But one of the challenges I have, I did a class called 2-Page Terrific, and we did a lot of things in there where you took one piece of designer paper and spread it over 2 pages, because very often I don't have 2 pieces of the same paper to do a background, and when I don't have them, like now, I very often end up using cardstock. And with this grid pattern, I didn't really want to try to split a piece of designer paper and over 2 pages, so I'm stuck with, you know, my cardstock background, and those are fine. I love cardstock. However, it's a little much cardstock for 2 whole pages, not to have, you know, something more on it. So I thought I would do quite a bit of misting and add some pattern to this. I'm looking at a couple of different stencils. I have this swirly stencil that I could do like in sections here and kind of just do a continuous pattern, or I have this brand new stencil called Stained Glass, and I just love, you know, using new things, so I'm thinking about using this. But at any rate, I'm going to do a lot of misting over the entire background, and that's why I have paper spread out here so that I can work outside my box where I normally mist. Now what I'd like to do though is to kind of create a frame for these, so I'm going to cut some paper a little bit larger and tack it down with some removable adhesive, like the Tombow removable adhesive, to hold this down, and then I can pull it back up after I'm done with the misting. So you kind of see what I'm going for here for this grid pattern. Okay, so I've got my little slips of copy paper that I have cut 1/4 to 1/2 inch larger than the 3x4 photos. And I'm going to place them where I would want the photos to go. I'm using a ruler to help me keep them straight, about 1/4 inch over from the center edge of the paper, and then once I get that row straight, then I can just sort of eyeball the rest of them. And I'm not going to put them behind the Project Life cards. I'm just going to let those sort of float on top of the page. That's partially because I thought I had enough masking, and partially because I wasn't still positive of where everything was going to go. I just knew where the photos were going to go. So I've got 3 portrait photos, 3 landscape photos. Now, in order to keep all this really together while I'm literally together while I am misting, I'm going ahead and tacking the back across, and I decided on the flourish stencil because I like the idea of having something that goes all across the entire design. I'm laying it down, and the reason I have that white paper back there is to protect my work surface. It's just some old flip chart paper. And then I'm using a bunch of different green mists and a little bit of brown mist. And one of the brown mists was really dark, and I didn't know how it would look. Now, I should have kind of taken a look at it there and seen, oh, it looks really good, because what I did over here on the left is I continued to spray my greens, some Heidi Swapp and some Prima. I think there's one October Afternoon. And when I got to the brown, I thought, I think I'm just going to do some droplets. And this is the one thing I didn't like, because they made rather large splatters. And I wasn't real happy with that, and we'll address that in a few minutes coming up. But I do like how the background came out with all that pretty green swirl, very peaceful look, and that's the way our walks felt, as they were fun, and it was early in the morning, so it was kind of a peaceful time of day. Now I hate for all this mist to go to waste, so I'm taking some book paper, and I'm just soaking up the extra mist, and then I can use these on other projects. I use them for mixed media and different things. So now I'm very pleased with it, except for those little brown droplets, sort of plops of mist, because the brown spray up in the upper right hand corner looks really good. All right. And we're getting close to some lettering here finalizing my choices on project life cards and just going through these to make sure that I'm not missing any or an opportunity to use something that would look better. All right, now part of our lettering is going to be thickers. I'm going to spell out Branson Landing. That's where our walking place was when we were visiting my stepdaughter in Branson. So I'm going to use my ruler to line that up. And I liked that text there for Branson. I thought it had the right kind of look, that sort of almost Western look to it. My husband still refers to country music as country and Western, and I keep telling him we don't call it that anymore. It's just country. But he's, you know, that's what he says. So okay, I've gone ahead and glued on my letters here for the part of the title, but I want the rest of the title up here. I want to say what we're doing here. We're not just at this particular place, because for us it was a great place to walk. And I did these letters on the silhouette because I wanted to make them different sizes and play with the arrangement a little bit. I have a new class, using your silhouette for titles and text, and we go through things like this where we take the letters and we make them different sizes and show you some easy ways to arrange them so they'll be really easy to glue onto your page. But what I've done is gone ahead and kind of arranged the letters the way I wanted, and doing this is very simple in the silhouette. So check out that class and see if it's something that you think would be a good fit for you, especially if you have a silhouette and you're maybe not doing as much with it letter-wise as you had wanted to, or just looking for some new ideas. There are several layouts in the class, start to finish, and then so you get lots of other ideas besides just using the silhouette, as well as lots of cool things. And this is one of the simpler features, but there's all kinds of great things that you can do with the silhouette for lettering. And I could do some shadows and things with this, all kinds of cool stuff. Now, if I need help placing this, remember I have my original here, so I can use this to help me place those letters exactly where I want them to go on the layout. And I'm kind of looking for a staggered look here. So I'm just going to glue these on. And again, this is a great way to know how I want them arranged. But the trick was doing this in the silhouette so that I didn't have to type in each individual letter. So I could get them arranged this way, and this really simple thing to do. But that's one of the things that we do in the class. But however you go about it, you've got some letters here and you want to arrange them in kind of a staggered fashion. And then I will put in walking in Branson Landing. So I'm just going to glue these down. You can glue them down with Tombow adhesive, or you can use, it's hiding here, the Zig two-way glue pen. When I have a surface like this where I've done some misting and things and there's a little bit of slickness to it, the two-way glue pen may not hold as well, and these letters are pretty big too, so I probably will use some Tombow adhesive on them. This is better for those really small letters and when you're working on a surface where this is going to stick really good. It doesn't stick as good on your textured cardstock or anything like where, as I say, where I have a shiny mist to it. Now I did decide that I wanted a shadow behind these letters, so I just cut them out a second time out of some early espresso cardstock from Stamping Up. So we'll just mount the designer paper one over the top, leaving a slight shadow in the lower right hand corner. It's kind of where I like my shadows to be. You can, position them however you would like. And I use the glue stick or the glue pen for that, and then the Tombow adhesive to put the letters on to the background. And so it says walking at Branson Landing. And what I'm doing out with all these jelly prints is I thought that I would like to have some other embellishment. I need some embellishment on this page, and that I would cut some leaves. And I wanted them cut out of something interesting, and I had a lot of scrap jelly plate things that I could do. Before I cut them though, I'm going to do a little bit of stamping because these are actually kind of plain as jelly prints go. So I'm just going to take some stamps and some archival ink. Could really be any ink at this point because I'm not going to do anything with them beyond cutting them. I'm not going to add any Mod Podge or anything over the top of them or gel or anything. So it doesn't matter. The ink's not going to smear, in other words. But I'm just using a couple of background stamps and adding some green and aqua colors to my papers. And that first one did not show up well. It took me a couple of stamps. I think that particular color is starting to get, I need an ink refill. And then I'll take these to my silhouette and cut out a bunch of leaf shapes. So we're back here with the leaves. Gelli prints cut really well. I used the same thickness of 30 on my cutter for these as I do Stampin' Up! Cardstock. I think the default is 20 for cardstock thickness on the silhouette, but I use 30 because I need that little bit thicker cut for some of my types of paper. I'm looking for some wood veneer pieces here to go with them. They need a little something more, so considering some wood veneer or some brads. I couldn't really find anything in the big, I found one thing in the big wood veneer that I liked, and then I had those little wood dots. They're like enamel dots except they're made out of wood. And those are really cool, but I haven't used them very much. Adding a little bit of ink to the edges of some of the bigger leaves, so it really shows up there. And then I'm going to put a few little wood dots, going to show that my title's continuing. Go ahead and put an ellipse there, and then a few other dots. And I wrote my date on the wood piece. And so here's our finished page. So we've got our leaves cut out of the silhouette, cut with a silhouette out of some Gelli prints that I just added a little stamping to and a little bit of ink around some of the edges. This text was cut also from the silhouette using some different size lettering. And again, we have a class coming up that will go over all kinds of things like that. Then we use some Project Life cards. More titling, and we started everything by masking off some areas and then stenciling over the whole thing, which reminds me I can take my little stickers here off the back, so this can go into my album as 2 pages. Okay. Thanks for joining me today, and I hope you enjoyed the layout. If you did, I would love to get a thumbs up from you, and take a look out for the class on the silhouette and using all kinds of lettering options. We do simple things, we do more complicated things, just a lot of really fun features and a lot of good information about working with Silhouette Studio software and putting your cutter to use. Also, the sketchbook should be available towards the end of the year, 1st of next year, that will have all the sketches from this year with links back to the videos. Thanks for watching.